So thanks very much to Bigme for sending this out for review. This is the B1051C, and it's a Kaleido free 10.3-inch screen with a Dimensity 900 processor, 6 GB of RAM and 120 GB of internal storage, with also the ability to expand that up to 1 TB extra. Now this is looking on paper, looking on their website at least, it's looking pretty similar to the Boox Tab Ultra C Pro, which is one of my very favorites. Now, unfortunately, I don't think they have shipped me the keyboard case this time, but I think that will come shortly for me to test out, because one of the things I really liked about that device, Tab Ultra C Pro, was the keyboard case. But I think I've just got the normal case and the device itself in here. What's recommending this over, let's say, a Boox? Very similar type of tablet in that they are both the Google Play enabled e-ink devices really to look at. Well, this one is also very thin and is very reminiscent in design to the Note Air family of tablets from Boox. However, it has these pogo pins at the back to enable it to do the keyboard case stuff, which, given that they've also managed to make it just 5.5mm thick, is a pretty good sign for them, really. I'm trying to think what we've got here. We've got an aluminium around the outside, plastic on the back, and then it's got this interesting situation where we've got these two bezels, so you can either hold it nice and comfortably in landscape orientation or in portrait orientation. Power button just here. I am delighted to see that they've gone away from their previous form of pen, and now they're giving us something which looks and feels very much like a Remarkable Marker Plus, the older form. I'm thinking they're sticking with the Wacom EMR though. And my first thought about it is, have they included the newer Kaleido 3, or is this the older Kaleido 3? Time will tell in English. They do give you some nibs and a USB charging cable, just 2 spare nibs in there, and the card removal tool, and your legal stuff's in there as well. They do appear to have gone with a very similar case though to before, which the previous device I've tried out from Bigme was the Inknote X, and I did actually make a conclusion that I quite liked that device in the end. They have very much worked hard to get their software up to the point where you can really enjoy using it. Now, I've been thinking a lot about Bigme recently because I have been working with their Highbreak phone, which is an interesting phone indeed. Now, have I actually got the Bigme AI Note in mobile phone app? You'd think you would have it on the phone, wouldn't you? Frustrating that I can't seem to get rid of a notification that's at the top of my screen at times on this phone. Seriously, there's no way of swiping it away. So I've been really interested in Bigme for a little while because they're right now, I think, the only e-ink company that actually have sort of mobile connectivity, and they're the only one that currently make, for the Western market at least, an e-ink phone. They used to always have 4G connections, like a SIM card tray, in their tablets, but they actually stopped putting them in. And the reason why is because although they used to advertise that they worked with 4G, they didn't work with 4G in the West. And well, look, here's the Bigme phone that I've got. And unfortunately, on their own Bigme phone, I can't scan their QR code. It says, manage notes, Bigme AI Note in mobile phone. Please scan the code to download the app. Well, I can't actually scan it on their phone. You can't do their workflow. They do have 2 apps actually. They've got the Bigme Voice to Text app that actually has all of the notes in your Bigme account in it as well. They also have a Bigme Cloud app, which, well, okay, that one didn't open. So here we go, you've got the voice notes, and you've got all of your notes from your AI Note device. And the AI Note is their sort of operating system this is running on. So there we go, I've got all of my meeting records, look, all of my book notes and all of my notes from my previous Inknote X I've been using. So you can see they are really working hard to actually improve that software experience and make it more joined up, but they've perhaps still got a little way to go. So these have dual front lights, and you slide them up, the warm light or the cool light. I think it's kind of the opposite way around, incidentally, but there we are. I would think daylight would be the whiter one and nighttime would be the orangey one, but doesn't matter too much. And they have, you know, if you look back in my reviews of Bigme devices, they have really worked on this to give you a better experience. And now, as you can see straight away, I'm welcomed with some user guides telling me what to do. Like the home button means home, swipe down from the top to display the control center you're used to having on a Android device, left to right to return back. You've got storage and things up the side. And you can also turn this now into a more like app-like homepage as well. And there you are. So you're welcomed on each part with a little welcome tutorial. So obviously they've managed now to get mobile connectivity. Why not go back to offering that in their AI note. And I think that actually, if I was to commit to using Bigme, I think I'd be happy to pay a small amount for that kind of subscription to have very easy automatic connection to a cloud. And yes, they've called it the AI note, but in reality, what I've tested so far with Bigme has been that it simply is a chat GTP app, basically. And of course, you can just go through the web browser and log into ChatGTP at any time. That's very acceptable. It looks a little bit wobbly. I'm a bit concerned at how accurate that is. For Wacom EMR, I'm used to it being just a little bit more accurate than that. But let's see if that's just a pen tool. Yeah, I mean, it looks okay, really. That's just essentially anti-aliasing. So what it wants to do is just, can you see, for instance, on that dot of the letter N, there's an ever such a slight wobble. It's just not giving us perfectly straight lines. It's just not interpolating between the samples to give you a straight line rather than actually putting ink exactly where it is. So that's not the most attractive ink I've ever seen. It also does not have a very paper-like feeling. That's a very smooth feeling there. I have to remember when you're on Bigme that you don't go as you would on an Android device. You just have it all up here. Home screen style, there we are. So I'll go tablet style, please. Confirm. But I still don't have my home buttons at the back. They're still at the top. No worries though. Little set of widgets there. The color does look quite good though. Let's go ahead and get a couple of apps. Don't you love it when they force you to make a 6-digit PIN code? And now it's asking me to put in a fingerprint. One thing I'll say is it's nice to hold with this bezel around the side. Okay, so I'm into Google Play. And please let me know in the comments any apps that you'd like to see tested out, and we'll do that in a live stream or further content on it. And so for me, they're looking for this to be known as the AI note, jumping on that AI bandwagon like everybody else. For it to be a true AI note, I think they need to do a couple of things. And by having that kind of automatic 4G and either giving you a little bit of 4G connectivity for free or going ahead and charging you a small amount, you know, I'd be happy to pay for £30 a month. All of the notes could be automatic going up to a cloud service where they're automatically being read by ChatGPT or the equivalent. And they do give you, this is ChatGPT 4.0 for life. They give that entirely for free on the device. So there's that. And have that input into a kind of memory, and that memory be accessed across all of your devices. Kindle's really not happy there, is it? And so there we are. I'm going to pull up something that I've been looking at in color, and that's going to enable me to do a comparison in a second with the Note Air 4C. I'm actually really annoyed about the Note Air 4C. At the minute, it's really let me down. I just did a bit of a drawing in it recently, and yeah, it was not a good time. Judging by the drawing I've just done, it'd be very hard to achieve that drawing on the front on this device directly. Stay tuned for that, because it is plagued by the same issue as previous notes, where the tilt pencil is causing it to have an absolute nightmare, really. But I've just looked at, for a long time, I've been looking at the quality of this screen here. I mean, you really just can't tell there's much color in the Bigme, can you? This is the improved Kaleido free screen. You just can't tell there's much color in it at all on the Bigme. It is displaying the color. So let's have a look at the e-ink center on the Bigme then, because I have obviously spent a lot of time getting this to be nicely optimized here, and I haven't spent that time on here yet. E-ink center there. And I have found, incidentally, that the Bigme was doing better. The last time I tested side by side a Bigme and a Boox, the Bigme was actually doing better. And what you'd ideally want is I can just press comic mode and it looks amazing. We will see. So it's on default, which is normal fast with reasonably high vivid enhancement. Aha, there we go. That does look a lot better, but I wouldn't say that it's got it. And we've got a lot of ghosting now on this. I've spent a bit of time getting rid of the ghosting here. Should pick a nicer comic to do this with. That looks really nice on there. Now, that looks better. Certainly a lot richer in the color. So it's on Regal. Color brightness we can increase to a custom. Regal. Color brightness, why not? Oh, okay, that's too much. That looks pretty pleasant now, actually. What I've done on here is I've increased the kind of render time after an animation, and that's what's improved it. Yeah, with definitely now doing better on this, the improved Kaleido free screen. We also now have two devices which are very comparable in two important ways. The Bigme and the Boox are almost identical thickness. I would say actually the Bigme shades it slightly. So that's the Bigme on the left there, and the Boox is on the right. Yeah, the Bigme is ever so slightly thinner than the Boox Note Air 4C, and you can really see the similarities in the design that I was talking about there. But whereas the Boox has a entirely aluminium design, the Bigme only has aluminium around the edge, and then it has a plastic front and back. This part's plastic and this part's aluminium. These are the 4 microphones at the top there, which they've gone for. Speaker at the bottom here, well, speaker at the top there rather, and the USB at the top, which is quite nice as well. And then the case, I have no idea why they've gone for this, but all that snaps in very satisfactorily there. Why they've gone for this detachable flap. And everyone had said how much they dislike these detachable flaps on Boox, and Bigme decided that's what they wanted. I think this can stand up just like the Go 10.3 case did. Yeah. And then it doesn't feel like you're going to need it, but you can use this as a little stopper should you need to stop it going any further. That'd be quite nice. So that and a Bluetooth keyboard could make a nice little setup if you didn't want to go for the keyboard case set. That's quite nice actually. And the benefit of having it with a bigger bezel on the top there allows you to hold it in this orientation as well. I'm guessing that only works within Notes app, I suppose. Where's the Notes app? Okay, so if you can't rotate it in the Notes app, I mean, what's the sense? There will be a setting somewhere, but that's just a flaw, isn't it? So really, if Bigme wants to compete with the likes of Boox, then they need to do something different. If they want to go down this kind of AI note, then it needs to be incredible. It needs to be that I can actually just click a button and talk to my notepad and talk to my Bigme cloud notes, and for it to be acting just like a true second brain. I think that they really need to do that. I think if they are convinced that the AI note is the way to go, then they need to have the AI features seamlessly integrated, not just a kind of little afterthought giving us the Bigme GPT app. Maybe it still doesn't ask the sketchy questions it did at the start. I mean, like, why is this the first kind of question that it decides that I want to know? AI for me is not about being able to enter prompts and get it to make me an essay. AI is useful for me to record my thoughts and to be able to organize them and then reshape them into different formats when I need them. I don't want the AI to do the thinking, especially not if it's going to give me the thinking in Chinese. And sure, I can get a portraiture of a cute girl, but that's not what I wanted to do. I want to draw the images and write the text. I want it to make that process easier. I want it to take care of tasks that I don't want to do, that I'm not interested in doing. I wanted to take care of tasks that are tedious. Drawing failed. To make it really clear, Bigme, what I'm saying is these are the things that you ought to be able to do on the device. You ought to be able to transcribe voice notes and handwritten notes, and all of those go straight into a kind of cloud knowledge base. And then I need to be able to ask it questions of my own knowledge, not generate generic content. I need to be able to use this as a place for my own content and be able to repurpose that into any shape or size that I want it to be. Right now, I'm using AI every single day for many, many purposes. What I need is it integrated into the places where I want to use it, not a random extra app. I need it sitting there in the Notes app, ready to ask it questions of any page on that Notes app, or indeed any page in the entirety of my knowledge. Look at a tool like Notebook LM, where actually you can feed it in knowledge, you can tell it a whole bunch of resources that you want it to understand. Your library on here should be something that the AI can dive into and answer questions based on anything in any PDF on the whole device. And Bigme, you've got a wonderful opportunity because as far as I know right now, you're essentially the only e-ink company to have an e-ink mobile phone, a true mobile phone with mobile connectivity. And you've got these nicely designed pieces of hardware, and you've also got the large e-ink screen that you could work with as well. In fact, you've got whole e-ink PCs. What you need to do is you need to be linking those together. My car, for instance, has permanent 4G connectivity. So wherever I am, I can look on my phone and I can check what the status is of my car, how charged up it is. I can check if it's locked. I can turn on the air conditioning. That's without having to pay for a subscription. That's just something that Volkswagen have put into place. That's my car constantly, seamlessly connecting to the world, telling me where it is if it goes missing, allowing me to lock it down and, for instance, you could brick this if you were worried about your notes being lost. And absolutely, it's the right thing to have a QR code where you can click on this and it just sort of seamlessly recognizes this device wants to be connected to this device. Linking all your devices together would be really, really useful. You make your own PCs, so have a PC app where that could be the kind of center of this AI knowledge base that I'm talking about. And listen, some of you watching this are thinking, no, this is a ridiculous kit. How could you possibly suggest that the right thing to do would be to upload all of your notes and content to some kind of AI cloud? That's the wrong thing due to privacy concerns. But sure, okay, I understand that. And if that's the case, of course, you're never going to want a device that does all that. Or you're going to need to have somebody verify that that content is just going to be kept on your own servers and that you can manage that data entirely yourself. But if you're interested in that Bigme, then you need to be looking at this kind of concept of a second brain, and Tiago Forte's book about that, how you can make a second brain out of notebooks. And personally, I would value having a device that could sort of organize all of my notes, categorizing them hierarchically into this kind of AI knowledge base. And I can interact with it and it can give me responses based on what it knows about me. And it already knows quite a bit about me. It knows how I think, it knows the way that I write, it knows all of these notebooks that I've worked on my Bigme. It knows what I've planned for the week if I'm doing my planning on it. This is where you need to go. So I'm looking forward to getting really to grips with this and really giving you a lot of feedback about it. I mean, my mum is using currently the Bigme S6 and she's enjoying that. I think you are getting there. You need to invest more time though into making higher quality, premium feeling devices. Avoid this kind of plasticky material on the back. Users who didn't like the Tab Ultra C Pro camera though will be pleased to know that this camera is still flush with the back there. And yeah, you've removed one of the features that people did like, which was the front facing camera. You've made this one slim, but invest more time in coming up with your real own design language. And although this is a very practical design, it makes the whole device look rather unbalanced. It isn't pretty. And sure, you need to retain all these Android features, but even me, who feels very confident about using Android, I feel really like put off by the sheer amount of clutter when you first open the device. Make the office style, make it entirely like focused and clear and clean. Think about just the three options that people need. Aim for the simplicity of the Remarkable and the Supernote devices, but then have the powerful AI second brain features underneath the surface. I'm enjoying watching Bigme innovate and change their devices up, but it's felt kind of directionless, and hopefully that'll help you have some thoughts about the direction you want to go with these. And you guys in the audience, please let me know. It's like this video has been directed at Bigme rather than the actual audience. Let me know what questions you have for the content coming up on the Bigme B1051C. It's Android 14 though, if that's a plus point for you.